Just a minute. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Narayana. So in the today is Sunday. So on in the 5th chapter, 24th shloka, I think we have almost finished. We'll just say a little and we'll proceed with the next shloka. Yonta, 24th we have not yet. We have to discuss. 23rd we have discussed. 24th we have to discuss. Yonta Sukhontara. That's okay. Yonta Katham Bhutaha Brahmani Sthito Bhavati. Yes. Katham Bhutascha Brahmani Sthito Brahma Prapnoti. Katham Bhutaha. Katham Bhutaha means what kind of a person? Katham Bhutaha. What kind means in by becoming what? I think that is the right translation. By becoming what? Katham Bhutaha. By becoming what? Or how, in short, how Brahmani Sthitaha. Brahma Prapnoti. How does he, having established himself in Brahman, how does he attain Brahma? That means in attaining Brahma, how does he exist? That's all. So the 24th says, Yonta Sukhontara Aramaha Tathantar Jyotirevayah Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhutodu Gacchati. Yo Antas Sukhaha. This is beautiful. Yo Antas Sukhaha. A person who gets his happiness inside only. Antas Sukhaha. That means he doesn't depend upon external happiness, external pleasures, because he got the happiness necessary for human being within himself. Within means what? Himself only. Not within doesn't mean somewhere something inside physically or within the mind. Within means oneself. A person who doesn't depend upon anything else for being happy. His very Atma is happiness. So yo antas sukhaha, antaratmani sukham yasyo antas sukhaha. For a person, the very his nature of Atma is happiness. So for a common man, you see, for an ajnani, an ignorant person, Atma is not happy. Atma means oneself. His self is not a happy self. So the self being unhappy self, it needs the support and help of the external things. He needs the support of something other than himself. He has to depend upon, both for security as well as happiness. For security as well as happiness, people depend upon money, status, friends and relatives, and many objects and many things, property and so on. All this dependency on external things is because the very Atma has become a dependent, insufficient, inadequate, unhappy. That is the thing. Now the Jnanam of Atma helps him to discover the Atma by its very nature is self-dependent. It doesn't need anything. Atma doesn't depend upon others. That means he doesn't feel insecure, nor he needs pleasures and joys from outside. His very nature of Atma is happiness. that he has discovered that his very nature of Atma is happiness, and also secure by himself. The very Atma is not affected by anything. Not dependent means what? It is not affected by anything, any good and bad that happens in the world. Pleasant or unpleasant, favorable or unfavorable, anything that happens in the world is not going to affect him, because Atma by itself is not dependent. So the smaller self, the individuality, the smaller self or individuality is unhappy individuality, incomplete individuality. The individuality itself is incomplete by its very nature. Therefore, it depends on external things. But here is a jnani who discovers that he is not an individual. Means what? He discovers that he is not a dependent being, a small being, a limited being, an incomplete being, requiring many things to depend upon. Huh? So when he discovers his Atma, which is an infinite being, a complete being by itself, it doesn't require anything because everything is itself. So your antas sukha. Therefore, this helps us. So this shloka reveals two ways. One is it describes the very nature of Atma. By describing the nature of Atma, it is also revealing that if I feel happy on myself, then that is Atma. If I become dependent on anything other than myself, then that means I have not discovered my Atma. I have not understood my Atma. Or my understanding of my Atma is a dependent Atma, an incomplete Atma. Therefore, still we have to probe, we have to investigate, we have to observe. As long as we discover Atma to be complete and free by itself, we keep on probing, further investigating. Self-observation is required. That means we have included something anatma in us, non-atma. That which is something other than the Atma we have included in us, and that something other is interfering, is covering up the Atma, is covering up the real nature of Atma and making us feel unhappy and insecure. Unhappy and insecure. Okay? So the factors, the external factors, the non-self which we have included in the Atma, which we have identified as the Atma, are responsible, are making us, giving us a false impression about myself. A false self they create. A false self is created, and that false self being a wrong, being an incomplete self, unhappy self, insecure self, and it's never going to be happy by any amount of acquirement and possessions, enjoyments. No amount of things acquired, possessed and enjoyed is going to make Atma happy, because it is a false self, a wrongly understood self. Therefore, this false self, wrongly understood individuality, wrongly understood self, wrongly understood means we put a wrong self in place of Atma, in place of the real self. So we miss the real self and take a non-self as a self. So this is a false self, isn't it? A false self, an incomplete self which is subject to birth and death. Body, mind and sense organs. Body, mind and body, sense organs and mind we identify as the Atma. This is where the mistake lies. It is not the real self, but we identify something, somebody else as a self, in place of self. We put somebody else in place of self, and that somebody always haunts us. Somebody always presents itself as the real self. And this somebody is a mistaken self, which is not really the self. It is covering up the real self and presenting something else. And this something else, which is an incomplete self, if I take as myself, and I am going to be all the time suffering self, unhappy self, incomplete self, worried, disturbed, lacking. And all these are in the state of mind only. Body, mind and sense organs. So it is only a purely a wrong understanding, a misunderstanding, how to say, a wrong identity. Now what we need to do is the investigation. Investigation into what? Into myself. For what purpose? To identify the right self and reject. Reject means what? By discriminating, by discovering the wrong self as a wrong self, not self as a not self, and the self remains. Self need not be newly discovered. The wrong self which is put in place of the self, the wrong self, that is a body, mind and sense organ. That means we have an opinion, we have a self-opinion, we have a self-idea. The self-idea, any idea I have about myself, any idea I have about myself is going to be wrong self alone. Because we look at ourselves through body, mind and sense organs. And we put up an individuality. And that individuality is inevitably incomplete, unhappy, sorrowful. The individuality which we have put means which we feel, which we have taken to be ourselves, is the real problem. Therefore, and that individuality is this false self, this misunderstood self, or wrongly picked up as myself. This itself is underlying all my worldly life, entire worldly life, all over my interactions, experiences, opinions, ideas, thoughts, in all our activities, in the entire the worldly life and worldly activity. This is underlying all my activities. This wrong self, the mistaken self, is underlying, forming the basis for all my interactions, all my activities, all my experiences of the life. Therefore, entire the waking state, the dream state, that I am an individual, taking myself to be individual, I am in the waking state. The entire waking experience, acts, experiences, knowledges, interactions, everything is based upon that false individual self, the wrong individual self, taken to be myself wrongly, but itself is not my true self. See, it is like you take somebody's wrong identity and go there. Somebody, it's a very interesting. You thought that you go to some village, a new village totally, and you are told that you don't tell your real name, don't tell your real identity, they won't like you. Somebody told, somewhere you got a wrong misunderstanding, that you got a wrong identity. Then you told one person he is a Harijan. Harijan means, I don't know whether you understand Harijan. Gandhiji's name has given the lowest caste in India. And he went to that village and he was thirsty and he needed water. So I don't know, he got some idea that if I reveal my identity, they will not give me water. You know what he told? I am a Muslim, I am feeling thirsty, will you give me some water? He gave his identity as a Muslim. They have outright refused. They have refused outright. Muslim, oh, you go. You as a Muslim, you can get water anywhere. Why should we waste our water? We got with a lot of difficulty, lot of hard work. I think the water is not easily available in that village. Probably it is a summer. They have to get the water from a distance place. So drinking water in those days, it was not easy. A pot of water, they have to go and travel, and then with a pot over the head, carry the water and this thing. They thought with a great difficulty we got this water, we need our family members and children. Now, where will we go? Probably from a distance, 1 kilometer or so, they have to bring. Or some mountain or hillock somewhere, they have to get it. So they refused to give. They told, you will get it somewhere else. So we need not give you. Now see here, this is in fact an event happened in somebody's life in India, an important, he's a VIP of India. Anyway, I don't want to take his name. If you have understood, understood. If you have not understood, doesn't matter. But take simply as an example. I don't know how he revealed a wrong identity. Now he is approaching this Hindu family as a Muslim. He told that I am a Muslim and I am thirsty, you give me water. Now for those people, you have revealed a wrong identity. Here, they refuse to give. Now he feels hurt. Now, as what person he is hurt? It's a very interesting thing, you see. Are you hurt as a Muslim? Because they refused water to a Muslim. But you did not reveal your Hindu identity. You should have told, I am a Hindu and so caste. You give me water. So he revealed, he put a false identity upon himself that I am a Muslim, and told them, because they are new people, you are in a new village, and you revealed your wrong identity, and they refused. And they told, oh, you Muslim have come here, you can get anywhere water. You Muslims drink anybody's water. Our water is a very rare and important water. We got it with great difficulty. Oh, as a Muslim, you can drink anybody's water. You go there. See, higher caste, they don't drink anybody's water. They need some special. If you are a Muslim, you drink anybody's water. In those days, I am talking. In those days. Even now, some people follow. You can drink water anybody. So anybody will give you. Why should I waste my water? Because we got it with a great difficulty. And we have children and others to drink. So in just one pot of water, they got it from a distance. So they refused to give. Now when they refuse to a Muslim, should he feel hurt or not? Because he revealed his Muslim identity, which he is not. So it's a very strange thing. Now they refused water to a Muslim. Now he felt hurt. But you are not a Muslim, you are a Hindu, but you narrated, you presented a Muslim's identity, which is not your real identity. And they refused water to the Muslim, not to you. But he felt that I am refused. See, it's a very strange thing. You reveal somebody's identity. You take up somebody's identity upon you and present it to others. Others refused it. Supposing this much only is actual event, but other I am adding just for our example. Suppose they abused you. They not only refused, they just abused you. Hey, why are you wasting our water? Just go away, get lost. And all this. Suppose they abused you. Do you feel hurt? And that too they say, hey, you are a Muslim, you can drink anybody's water. Why should you come to us and waste our water? And you can't come to our house, you can't enter our house, go away. Now he feels, should he feel hurt or not? Because he is not a Muslim, but presented himself as a Muslim. They are refusing to the Muslim, not to you. But you have presented your wrong self, and they are refusing that wrong self. They are abusing. They are abusing that wrong self which you have presented, which you have taken upon yourself. And that wrong self they are abusing, they are refusing, they are asking you to go away. Now, should you, if you take up that role upon you, that wrong identity upon you, and if that wrong identity is refused, abused, or rejected, or asked you to leave, should you feel hurt? Because it is not your real self. It is not your real identity. Somebody's identity you took upon yourself. And that identity is rejected in this area. That identity is rejected in this area. Now what will you do? Here, when you take somebody's identity, supposing, I'm just giving, you tell somebody's name, and that person has got a bad name. You leave this example, we are extending somebody else. You give an identity of somebody, and that somebody has got a bad name in this area. People won't tolerate him. People won't tolerate. Somebody, you gave a wrong name here. And they get angry. Oh my God, this fellow comes to our village. So we will report it to police and they will arrest him. Now, what do you say? When you take a wrong identity, whatever the treatment given to that person, that's not your real you, but you have taken somebody's you. Okay? Somebody's identity you have taken upon yourself. And if the people reject you, drive you out, as what? As that person, the wrong identity you have taken. Naturally, you will undergo all sufferings. If that person has got a bad name, you will get a bad name. If that person is abused, you will get abused. If that person is rejected, you will get rejected. That person is driven away, you get driven away. Because you have taken a wrong identity. And after some time, then you reveal your real identity. Oh, they come to know. Are you really? Yes, I am not a Muslim. I am only this so-and-so caste here. Oh, why didn't you tell us before? Oh, I am sorry. Come on. Come, sit here and we'll offer you water and everything else. Now you see, when you have a real identity, whatever treatment that they give you, that touches you. But if you take a wrong identity, all that treatment, abuse, everything falls upon you. Similarly, we have taken this body, mind and sense organs upon ourselves. And this wrong identity I take upon myself. This wrong identity I have taken upon myself. And people don't like that identity which I have taken. Naturally, they will refuse you. They will ill-treat you. They will disrespect you. And if you feel hurt, then what is the solution? Reject that identity which you have taken falsely upon yourself under an impression that this identity will be respected here. But this is the place they don't respect that identity. They don't honor that identity. They refuse, they reject, they drive you out. So you also reject that identity. Come to your real identity. Then you are free from all the problems. The only solution is you give up that identity and come back to your natural state. Similarly here, if you come back to your natural state, you discover your natural state. Give up this false identity as an individual, subject to birth and death and good and bad and all that. Okay, karmas you are doing and undergo the various experiences of pain and pleasure and honor and dishonor, gain and loss and so on. And so on and so forth. Okay? So this identity falsely I have taken up myself and I have invested all my emotional attachment, and I find it very difficult to shake off my wrong identity. I find it very difficult to shake off my wrong identity because I have falsely somehow took upon myself and I have invested a lot of my emotional attachment upon it. Similarly, we are suffering all this problem. The jiva is suffering from the same problem. Now the solution is discover yourself, your real identity. So identity is only a thought. Identity is only a thought. It is only an assumption. It is only a thought. It is only a notion. Now you have to correct the notion by paying attention to your real self. By paying attention to your real self, reject this wrong identity, a wrong notion. A wrong notion has to be corrected. And you have to discover this is not me. I have falsely taken upon myself. This is not me. So the rejecting the wrong identity is only in terms of understanding. It is purely an understanding. Wrong notion is a thought. Right notion is also a thought. Therefore, it is only in terms of understanding, not there is any physically removing anything. Therefore, only understanding helps you to come back to your state. The real nature of Atma is self-fulfilled, self-contented. It's a complete and happy. It doesn't feel any insecurity. It is free and complete by itself. It is not disturbed by any event. It disturbed by any event, any happening outside in the world. because it is all alone, complete and free. That is the beauty of Atma, the greatness of Atma, the freedom you get in the nature of Atma. Atma by its nature is free, it doesn't depend on anything. Therefore, yoanta sukhaha, one who discovers the happiness as oneself. Inside oneself means as oneself. It discovers the happiness as oneself. Antararamaha, he is relaxed with himself. Otherwise, if he takes a wrong identity, he was restless, insecure. Antararamaha is secure with himself. Yonta sukhaha antararamaha. Aramanam means he enjoys, he is free and relaxed. If he takes body, mind and sense organs as himself, he is continuously feels insecure, because body is subject to many problems. Body, mind and sense organs are dependent on many external factors. You are continuously disturbed and shaken. Antararamaha, he is relaxed and free, not worried and disturbed, because the very nature of Atma is free. Okay, yo antasukhaha, antararamaha, antarjyotirevayaha. So antarjyoti means what? The light, the consciousness is within himself. Within the Atma itself is the Jyoti. Jyoti means the clarity, the freedom. So antasukhaha is happiness. Antararamaha is freedom from insecurity. Antarjyoti means what? A consciousness, a light. That means the condition of the mind. Mind doesn't know many things. Mind suffers from ignorance of many things in life, because there is no complete knowledge. He doesn't suffer from that incompleteness of knowledge. He doesn't know many things in life. So the ignorance of many things in life doesn't bother him anymore, because Atma is free. Atma doesn't need any knowledge of the external world. Otherwise, you see how common man doesn't know many things. Many questions haunt him. Many questions, because life is a mystery. World is a mystery. This mystery is a haunting mystery, persecuting mystery. The obscure things of life. We don't know why this is like this, why this is like this, why it should happen like I don't know. We just don't know. Many things we don't know. What is life? Why am I born? Where am I going? What is this world? Why should it be like this? We have no control. Many things we don't know. Out of ignorance, we commit mistakes and suffer later. So this, he doesn't suffer from the ignorance, the lack of knowledge, the deficiency in his knowledge, because he finds himself with the pure consciousness. He doesn't suffer from any missing in terms of knowledge, any deficiency in knowledge. Antarjyotirevayaha. He gets a jyoti. Jyoti is a light. The self-light. Self-happiness. Freedom from all insecurity. Arama is a freedom from all insecurity. Antarjyoti, he is a self-illumination. Self-shining Atma. Antarjyoti is a self-shining. And Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam, such a yogi. Yogi means a person who has, yoga is concentration of the mind. Concentration of the mind means paying attention and understanding, both included in it. You pay attention to a given thing continuously for a long time. You come to discover it. You come to understand it. And your mind is not distracted to elsewhere. That is a yogi. Means yogi not only pays attention to Atma and moves towards Atma and stays as an Atma. See, the yogi means a person, see here paying attention means paying, it is not only simply paying attention, you are surrendering to it yourself. See, there are two kinds of things. In the worldly, in the other meditations, you remain an individual and pay attention to something, meditate on something. So in the worldly meditations, meditation means concentration, paying attention to something. You remain an individual and pay attention or concentrate on something or meditate on something. But here, the meditation and the meditator are not two separate things. The very meditator is the meditation. That's why here the yogi, in Vedantic yogi, he is the meditator retaining his meditatorship as an individual. In the worldly meditation, he remains a meditator, an individual, and meditates on something. So what he meditates on something is different from himself. He is an individual and meditates upon something. This is the worldly meditations. And in the religious meditations, you meditate upon something, it transforms you to a certain extent. Because in relationship with your what you meditate, there are three things I am talking you: worldly meditation, religious meditation, and Vedantic meditation. Okay, religious means mystic. We are talking a mystic meditation, yogic meditation. Okay, yogic or bhakta. Yogic meditation or bhakti meditations, both put together, we call them a religious, or let us say mystic instead of religion. I think in English religion means it is something, some other meaning comes. Let us say mystic meditations. Oh, okay. Yogic or mystic meditations. One is a worldly meditations. People concentrate while learning something, doing something. Meditation means paying attention and concentrating. Because now we are coming to an end to the 5th chapter. Hereafter, now we have to prepare. We are going to enter in another 3 shlokas. In another 3 shlokas, we are going to enter into 6th chapter. 6th chapter talks of only meditation. The entire 6th chapter, I think it will go for 2 months or 3 months. We'll be discussing only on meditation. Okay, different kinds of meditations. More and more we'll discuss in the 6th chapter. The Vedantic meditation, worldly meditation, religious, mystics, and then all these things. Yogic and bhakti. So one is a meditation means simply paying attention or concentrating your mind. In worldly, what is worldly meditations? Worldly means if you are concentration, working with a concentration and dedication to something. If you are reading a book is one way. Or if you are studying for some exam or to pass some exam, you are with a concentration, full attention, you are studying. You are doing some research or studying. A scientist does research. Or you are doing some kind of an investigation. Any archaeological or any other investigation. How you pay attention, concentration, you are trying to find out something. All these are worldly meditations. Or you are working for something. With a dedication, with a concentration, you are working to achieve something. So this is also meditation, but in this meditation, one thing is you remain an individual separate, and object of meditation is one, and an individual is separate. Meditator is one. What is meditated is something separate. In this meditation, you acquire something, you learn something, you gain something. But you remain the same individual, no change at all. Okay? Now this is the worldly meditation. This we know already, only for contrast I am telling you. Now coming to the mystic meditation. Okay? The mystic meditation, more we will see, more and more elaborately we discuss for 1 or 2 months, because 6th chapter contains the only meditations. Now I am just giving you a brief introduction. Whatever you understand. If you still have doubts, don't worry. We will get it more and more. We'll get more clarity in future talks. Mystic meditation is yogic or bhakti, a devotional. Either in devotion or in yogic meditation. You meditate on something, an abstract principle, abstract idea. That idea is loaded with certain qualities. It is not simply idea. It is an idea that affects your life. Okay. Earlier worldly meditation, you are simply concentrating, and you remain an individual and you are concentrating on a given thing to achieve something. So it doesn't transform you as a person. Okay. You acquire something, you gain something, that's all. But in mystic meditations, yogic meditation or devotional meditation, bhakti or yogic dhyana, bhakti dhyana or yogic dhyana, any upasana or dhyana. In these things, you take up an idea, which is a very noble idea, great idea. You meditate upon that idea in such a way that that very idea affects you. It affects the meditator, it transforms the meditator a little bit. It affects the very meditator, because the meditator is getting related to your object of meditation. The meditator is getting related to his object of meditation. And that object is not a gross object, it is a great principle, a divine principle, full of many good qualities, highly noble qualities. So it is a noble principle, noble quality, a noble ideal. When you meditate on it, not only you are meditating, you are relating to it. Okay? You are meditating, you are relating to it. In your relationship, what you meditate upon, that principle, that idea, the qualities gradually get related to you. So a few qualities develop in you. A certain transformation takes in you. It affects you. It changes your outlook and feelings and thoughts. It changes, isn't it? Then only we call it meditation. So we will discuss japa, puja, meditation, all that in the 6th chapter, because that is the chapter meant for it. I have to discuss. In japa also, when you take a mantra and how to meditate on the mantra and how to proceed, all that will come in the 6th chapter more and more. I think we have spent a lot of time on 5th chapter only. 5th chapter took a long time. In between there were gaps. Otherwise we should have finished it long before 5th and entered into 6th. There were a number of gaps. So, see, just to contrast it, I am telling you worldly meditation, because anybody consistently works on something for a long time, that is called simple meditation in general. And if it is a worldly event, worldly action, then we call it a worldly meditation. But if you take some kind of a divine, you associate some divinity, some respect, some faith, some noble feeling, you associate some faith in it, some devotion to it, then it becomes a religious symbol or religious idea. Any symbol implies some idea, some concept, some principle. Okay, there is no, I think I should dilate more on this now. It will come in future. So when we meditate an idol means, I don't know, an Indian concept, one murti, one image, a symbol. A symbol itself symbolizes one idea, one feeling, one principle. We are meditating that an idea and a principle, not an inert object. Okay, a symbol symbolizes certain idea, certain principle, certain quality. And that quality, not only you are meditating, you are relating to yourself with it. That means you are feeling related with him, with that idea, that principle. So naturally it affects you. So the meditator gets transformed to certain degree, to certain extent. So in this mystic meditation, the meditator also gets transformed, because in relationship with that ideal, with that principle of meditation. Whereas in the worldly meditation, meditator remains the same, no change in him. This is the difference. Okay, now the mystic meditation we have told. Now what about the Vedantic meditation? In Vedantic meditation, meditator is not only gets related to his object of meditation. Meditator not only he gets related, he also gets, not only he gets transformed, he discovers, he probes deeply inside him. He negates a part of his meditatorship and keeps on negating. Ultimately he ends up into another level of himself and drops away his lower self. His lower self melts away, negated, and he discovers, he becomes one with this object of meditation. He discovers, in fact it is not identifying, it is discovering his inner self, and what you call pruning away his external self, a wrong self. The meditator himself gets negated and he becomes one with the principle which he is meditating upon. Therefore, here the yogi, one who meditates, the very meditator keeps negating himself. Many aspects of him negates, he becomes infinite self, and that self is in fact, it is inner core, it is real self. He negates his false self, a wrong identification he negates. So this Vedantic meditation, you negate your wrong self and discover your real self. Okay? You are moving towards your inner self. You are unfolding, unveiling your real self and de-identifying with your wrong self. You keep on unfolding, unveiling, and ultimately you discover your real self and get rid of your false self. Okay, this is Vedantic meditation. Just to begin with, I just told these three. More and more, I think we have to do 2 to 3 months. We have to discuss much more elaborately. We will do. Okay, so yogi, such a yogi who discovers his real self, and his false self gets negated. So yo antasukhi, antasukha, antararamaha, antarjyotihi. Antasukha, he discovers himself as a happiness, infinite happiness. Antararamaha, he discovers the full security. He doesn't feel any insecurity at all. He is free from all insecurity. That means he feels a freedom. Antararamaha is a freedom. Antasukha is happiness. Antararamaha is a freedom. Antarjyoti is a self-shining, self-consciousness, a self-shining. Not consciousness, that means self-knowledge, let us say. A full consciousness, a complete consciousness. Sayogi, such a yogi, Brahma Nirvanam, Brahma Bhuto Adhigacchati. He becomes Brahman and attains Brahma Nirvana. That means Brahma Bhuta Son, he becomes one with Brahman because it is his real nature. Why does he become one with Brahman? Because Brahman is himself. He discovers his real nature, infinite self, that is Brahman. And Brahma Nirvanam. Nirvanam means Brahma Nirvanam. Moksha. Nirvruti. He gets a completeness, freedom in his Brahman nature. Brahma Nirvanam. Nirvanam is a freedom. Freedom of himself in his real nature as Brahman. Brahma Nirvanam. Nirvruti. Nirvruti or Nirvanam. He gets freedom in his real nature by getting rid of his false individuality. False self. He gets liberated from the false selves and becomes free in his real self. Becomes free as his real self. This is called Brahma Nirvanam. Brahma Bhutaha. How does he get it? Not by meditating on. See, in the worldly sense, you meditate on it from a distance. In mystic meditations, you meditate on it while relating to it. One is, in worldly meditation, you meditate upon a thing by keeping a distance. In the mystic meditation, you meditate upon it by being related to it, coming closer to it, being related to it. In Vedantic meditation, neither keep distance nor keep related. You are that. You discover yourself as that. You don't exist as a separate from Brahman. You are the very Brahman. It is the discovery, it is an understanding that rises in you, that dawns upon you or rises in you. It is a discovery that rises in you, and that is Brahma Bhuto Adhigacchati. You attain Brahman, you attain freedom, you attain happiness, you attain completeness, freedam from all worries, tensions, insecurity, unhappiness and everything. It becomes totally free. So therefore, yontas sukhantararama santarjyotirevayah labhante kshina brahma nirvanam. Who attains this? 25th shloka I am covering. This Brahma Nirvanam, freedom of yourself as Brahman. Okay? That means your freedom in your being Brahman. Now I lost my freedom because I lost my identity as Brahman. I lost my identity as a Brahman. I got my identity as somebody else, as an individual self, which is a wrong identity. Therefore I am suffering from it. Brahma Nirvanam means an identity of myself as Brahman, a freedom of myself as Brahman. As a Brahman, I am already free by my nature. I am free from my wrong self. Okay, Labhante Brahma Nirvanam. Rishayaha. Rishi means one who gets this understanding, this enlightenment is called Rishi. Rishayaha attain this Brahma Nirvanam, this freedom as a Brahman, freedom as the Brahman. There is only one Brahma anyway. Freedom as that infinite self as Brahman, he gets it. Kshina Kalmashaha. First stage, he follows Karma Yoga and makes his mind pure. Second stage, he discovers himself by negating his false self. First stage, he purifies his mind. Second stage, he rejects, he negates his false identity, false individuality or false identity he negates, and he discovers his real self, which is infinite self. Okay, in that thing he attains his Brahmatvam. Chinna Dvaidha. Dvaidha means doubts. Okay, Dvaidha is a Sanskrit word which means a double mind is called Dvaidha. Dvaidha means either that or this, maybe that, maybe this. That means when mind is not clearly, a clear mind has got one perception. A wavering mind has got maybe that, may not be this, maybe so that, maybe, may not be. So this kind of a wavering mind is called, it is moving in two sides, neither and sometimes that, sometimes this, or partly that and partly this. That means it is not clear in one thought. Chinna Dvaida, his Dvaidi Bhava. Dvaidi Bhava means a waveringness. Maybe that, maybe this. His double mind, is, that means in short, doubt. I am explaining the word, Sanskrit word. If you take direct meaning is doubt. Dvaidi Bhava is doubt, that's enough. But how that word doubt comes, how that meaning doubt comes, how that meaning doubt derived from this Dvaida. The Sanskrit word Dvaida, Dvidha. Dvi means two, Dha means into two. Dha is two. Bahudha, Anekadha, this is how we express in Sanskrit. Dha means into. Dvi, two. Into two. If you translate it into two, your mind is in two ways, two sides, two minds. Two minds we call in English, oh, he is in two mind. Two mind means whether I should go or not go. One partly feel that I should go, again feel no, I shouldn't go now, it is not very risky. Corona is spreading all around, so I should not go. But I feel no, everybody is going, now it has come down, they are encouraging us to go, now we should. Now when he is in two minds, that is called Dvaidi Bhava. Dvaidhi, Dvaidha, Dvidha, Chinna Dvaidha. See that Sanskrit word I was explaining. Those who are not interested in Sanskrit, you take doubt, that is enough. Okay. Doubt. Dvaidha, Dvidha, Dvaidha, both are same. Dvidha, Dvaidha. These two words are there in Sanskrit. Both mean doubt. That means mind in, you are in two minds. Chinna Dvaidha. Chinna means cut off. It is broken, it is destroyed. Your Dvaidi Bhava, the doubt is destroyed. That means doubt is cleared instead of that. This double mind, two sides of the mind is cleared. It becomes one clear understanding. Chinna Dvaida Yatatmanaha. So that enlightened Jnani, when he becomes free, one is free from all impurities of the mind. Second, all his doubts are cleared. Yatatmanaha, he has got a complete self-control. His mind and sense organs are fully under his control. Yatatmanaha. Atma is Antakarana here. Sense organs and mind. His sense organs are completely under his control. Generally, for an ignorant and worldly man, sense organs get tempted. They get disturbed. They get attracted by the worldly things. Money, status, power, pleasure and so on. So he is not attracted to anything. Nothing disturbs him. Nothing tempts him. All his sense organs and mind are completely under his control. They don't threaten him. They don't go against him. They remain purely with himself. So yatatmanaha. Okay. Then Jnani's nature. This is one word I think we will discuss in the next class. Sarvabhuta hite rataha. Beautiful. This and the next shloka also discusses Jnani state. 26th. Then last three shlokas, 27, 28, 29. These last three shlokas, now we are discussing 25th and 26th also we have to discuss. And the last three shlokas, 27, 28, 29. These last three shlokas of the chapter give introduction to the sixth. In fact, they should be added to the sixth, because they talk about meditation. So therefore, in the last three shlokas, we almost enter into sixth chapter alone, because they talk of meditation, the preparation of meditation, what and how and all that. So in the 27th onward, we enter into meditation only. Now one more shloka we have got, 26th. So he's talking about the nature of enlightened being. So in that thing we have explained a few things, but one important word, sarvabhuta hiterataha. That means he is engaged, he rests in the hita means how to translate this is very difficult. In the good of everybody. He rests in the good of everybody. Sarvabhuta hiterata. How enlightened person doesn't discriminate between any person, any human being, any whatever he is, good or bad or right or wrong. All people he loves them equally. Sarvabhuta hiterata. He is interested in the good. He doesn't think of harming anybody. Enlightened man, he sees everybody. So this one point we have to discuss little more. We'll see in the next class. And also the 26th shloka. I think next class we will complete this part of 25th and also 26th we will complete. And in the 27th onward, meditation alone we will discuss. We will club it with the 6th chapter and then discuss. Okay? I think now 12:30 it is. We'll stop with this. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Ayyo Rama. I have not switched on. I have not switched on this YouTube. It remains unrecorded today. I forgot. Okay.